Okay, great. All right, thank you. For those watching this meeting over the internet, the interviews have just concluded, and we're moving now into committee discussion and scoring. Committee members, we will now determine an interview score as a group for each of the finalists. The maximum number of points for each finalist is 700 points. After we've discussed each of the firms, I'd like for us to use a single motion assigning a score to each of the finalists. With that in mind, I'll open up the floor for discussion. Mr. David Miller. Hold on a minute. There you go.
I will open up the discussion just by first just a statement. These candidates are all very strong. I think any one of them would be someone where we should be proud to have in front of us. But I had them scored fairly closely, but I'll just the order that I had them in from lowest to highest. I had Plant Moran at 620. I had Crow at 635. I had KPMG at 650, and I had BDO at 655. So that we can just start things off with. That's kind of where they shook out to me with my method of scoring things.
Could you say that one more time? You said BDO at 655?
BDO at 655.
And KP?
At 650.
15,
650
okay.
For KPMG, 620 for Plant Moran, and 635 for Crow.
Okay, thank you. I see no other names on the list. Are you guys still thinking about? Okay, Kevin Pelkey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. No, I concur with David. Everybody had their niche and their expertise. One thing that did stand out to me was the topic on AI and cybersecurity. And obviously we are a people industry, and protecting that information of our members throughout not just the process, but the transfer of information between organizations and the safety of that transfer is a high concern of mine. So to know that BDO addressed that issue put them very high on my list. So from just the top three, I chose BDO to be number one, Plant to be number two, and KPMG to be number three.
Can I ask a question? When you say that BDO is high on your list, can you give me a reason why?
Mainly because the topic, well, they addressed the cybersecurity and AI issue to the extent that I felt was very appropriate and needed especially when it comes to, really the cybersecurity of the issue.
Okay.
It related to the issues of cybersecurity in today's matter.
Okay, and can you go over your point rankings again for me, please?
I very simplified them. Just I BDO with 700, Plant with 600, KPMG with 5, and Crow with 4. So I just went down the 100 marks.
Okay. All right, Ramon Rubalcaba.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I too had BDO as first. I was impressed with their answers to the meeting timelines. They had by far the most developed answer. They talked about structured, hands-on project management. They talked about different sub-tiers, teams, and daily huddles and status updates. Some of the other firms were talking about where it puts the onus on CalPERS to get into their project side or whatever. And so I thought they were more proactive and weekly calls with the core team and had trackers and all that. So I was very impressed with BDO on that point. In coming into, I have to say this because I shared it with somebody else. Coming into this meeting, looking based on the literature that was available to us, the cover letter, resumes, and what have you, I had Pat Moran, is that pronounced that right? Actually pretty high, but I didn't think, I don't know, I don't want to say, how to say it in a positive way, but the team leader said, I brought my team with me, but if you look at the chart they had in their resume, some of them, though, I thought were some of the stronger people who have worked on Michigan, on La Serra, I think, some were not here. So I was trying to read that.
Wait, let me make sure I'm summarizing what I'm hearing you say.
I'm
You're
just
saying
offering.
that you,
I expected them to be stronger based on what was submitted in their cover letter. And I don't think they were very strong on how, he made a comment, how the insurance side meets, meshes with the actuarial. I wasn't sure how it would, I didn't seem very developed on the technology piece. Yeah, so I mean, in a way, I was just disappointed, so I'm saying, in my initial coming in, I had them ranked high, so I'm just telling you, they're now not number one or number two, they're number 4 for me.
okay, and can you,
Sorry, I need to say that because
oh, don't be sorry, just, can you tell me what your rankings are?
I hadn't put a number, but I just
Okay.
say BDOs first. I actually like Crown second, and then
Yeah.
and then
Crow,
Crow, and then KPMG, and then Plant Moran.
okay. Jose Luis,
Yes, I also want to iterate, first of all, one clarification, if perhaps you can just clarify on the board interview score, 700, is that the maximum? So if it was go from 0 to 700, that would be the number that you would put in there, correct? And then the scoring. So the way first of all, I want to just say thank you to the whole process. I think this has been a very robust process. I think the way we did the interviews and how we went through the questions, I think it was all very very good, and I think it's a very streamlined process. So I want to elaborate on that. So my conclusion was I found Pat Moran pretty impressive in terms of their approach to their culture, and that's what really impressed me was their culture, their insight. I was also impressed with their understanding of the public pension persons. But more importantly, what really triggered me was these folks come from our world. Many of them came from the public sector, and they moved from the public sector world into the accounting world and the auditing world. And I find that really refreshing because I believe that they really understand our culture, they really understand where we come from, and they provide a perspective that I think would be appropriate. And based on all that, I scored the following. With respect to Plat Moran, with the sub-score and the board interview score, it came out to be 994.59. I also found Crown also very...
okay, hold on a minute, hold on.
I added the scores.
Yeah, I know. I don't want you to do that. You don't have to do that.
You don't
I
have to do
just
that?
want to know.
Okay.
Out of the 700 points that you can allocate
Oh, I
today,
see. I see what you're saying.
how would you like to allocate them?
Okay, very good then. So the allocation...
Don't make it more complicated, sir. I know you're an engineer and smart, but don't overdo it.
I won't overdo it then.
Thanks.
So the first one would be for Plant Moran would be 650. For Crown, it would be Crown would be 600. For BDO 400, and for KPMG 380.
380,
Yes, ma'am.
and BDO was 400.
BDO was 400. Yes. So first Plant Moran, second Crown, third would be BDO, and the fourth is KPMG LLP.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that, Madam Chair.
Oh, it's okay. So, I really enjoyed this entire process, probably because you got a little bit of a glimpse of what it's like to be the state controller, to hear about GASB rules, to hear about guardrails, you hear, now we experience actuarial reports here on this body, and no disrespect to our actuarial team, but they can be a little not fun. You heard, what struck me was, I think each team all had a handful of professionals that were connected to the national boards that are setting the rules and the guidelines that we engage with when it comes to auditing standards. And I like that. But I only heard from one in particular that said that they actually are writing the policy, which to me speaks to a deeper level of knowledge, deeper body of knowledge. And I haven't done a numeric score, but I came in with no bias and no preference, being new to this committee and new to this role. I was blown away by Plant Moran. I thought that they had both the technical skill side and the human skill set needed to communicate not only with us as trustees, but also to the public who are also listening and following the conversation. And I thought that their approach was not over the heads of people, the average person, but if they needed to go technical, they had the ability and the skill set to go technical. Now, interesting, Mr. Aruvakavala, you said that you heard that there was a disconnect between one end to the other, the actuarial and the, who was it? The actuarial and the insurance. The actuary and the insurance guy. And what I heard was, traditionally, there is a disconnect between how the actuarial numbers drive the insurance and the coverage. And what I heard from Plant Moran was that they actually communicate and talk to each other. And the one thing that was clearly demonstrated before us was the camaraderie, the mutual respect, and the fluidity when it came to just making a presentation and knowing the material. Now, I want to spend a little bit of time and talk a little about Crow. Crow was very interesting to me too. Once they got the nervous jitters out of them, the presentation really was fluid and it was tight, and it was almost it was tight, and also, it was like watching a conversation unfold between the team members and this body. Now, BDO struck me because it felt like they knew the answers. They anticipated the questions and knew what direction or what we wanted to hear. And I guess that would be very natural because of they currently have the contract and know us very intimately. I do have a quick question for staff. Could you tell me how long BDO has been our client, or our consultant? And colleagues, if you know the answer to that, you feel free to let me know. Michelle? 6. I'm hearing 6 years. 6 years. Okay, 6 years. Okay. And who was there? Who was our predecessor? Do you recall that? KPMG. Wow, this is so incestuous.
But they were there for 1 year. That was good. Is it okay to ask staff why were they only for 1 year?
Sure. Why don't you come? The question is for what reason was KPMG only with the contract for 1 year before BDO came in?
Certainly, I can answer that. I started around that time. So, okay, so we had an auditor prior to KPMG that didn't finish their contract out. And KPMG came in on a limited term and stepped in and did the audit for us. So they finished that term, and then somebody didn't get the RFP. There wasn't the timing on the RFP wasn't right. So it didn't get issued in time to get an auditor in play for the next year. So KPMG did it for the following year. And then we got a proper RFP out for the auditing. And at that point in time, KPMG just didn't win the bid.
Okay. And so before KPMG came in and did that 1-year stint, did we have another consultant that we were engaged with? I'm just trying to map out.
I'm sorry, the question.
So we had BDO, we have currently BDO, and they
Yeah.
have a 6-year contract. Before BDO was KPMG for 1 year.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Why was there 6 years on a 5-year contract? It was because BDO came in and finished.
KPMG's
Yeah,
contract.
they came in. We extended the audit RFP process out a year, and they came in and I think that's what happened. I'm sorry. We extended it out? I think KPMG did it for a half a year and then a year, and then BDO came in and did it until we could. Oh, I know what it was. We tried to get the contracting in. Another auditor had actually won the bid, but we couldn't make the contract work. So we ran up against an audit timeline. So BDO stepped in at that point.
All right, I appreciate that. Do you guys have any questions for Michelle? No? Okay. I was wondering if I could bring up Mr. Carlin. Now, this is our advisor to the board who has been with us throughout this entire process, reviewing the RFP, reviewing the statements, and then hearing the interviews. Do you have any advice or guidance that you'd like to share with us?
With respect to selecting who your consultant's going to be for the independent auditor?
Yes, sir. Or maybe, yeah, I don't care about process. Yeah.
I think that let me say, first of all, I think the process you followed so far, the questions and the dialogue has been great. Exactly what I like to see. You've been substantively discussing the merits of the candidates, what you liked, what you saw. I would say strategically that, I think once you've made sure all the committee members have had a chance to speak if they want to, I think the next step at that point would be for someone to make a motion, and then for the committee to further discuss the motion to try to arrive to a resolution. Because what I've heard so far is that it sounds like there's some competing views on who should be first. Mm-hmm. And so the natural tussle of making a motion, seconding it, and discussing it will help to arrive at a sort of a consensus, I think. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that answers your question, but happy to be more specific if I didn't get at what you were asking.
Thank you. You didn't, but I'm just rewording my question. As our advisor, how would you advise us to make a selection?
You're facing sort of an interesting dilemma in that you have 4 very well-qualified candidates that any of whom would serve well in your capacity. So I think what it really comes down to is for the committee to make a decision. I can't really make the decision for you. I can try to advise you further on it, but about which of the firms will be the one that will best serve in this capacity for you. And this is a technical capacity, right? They're going to be independently validating financial statements and a lot of other things like that. But as you were alluding to yourself, Madam Chair, there's other aspects as well about that role that's relevant to our stakeholders and others. So my suggestion would be, because I think there are differing views here, I don't think there's a consensus yet, that probably a motion is the best step forward. And
give me an example of the language for the motion.
Sure. The motion the motion in my mind, I think the easiest way, we could do it in a number of different ways, but would be, if I were up there, it would be, I move that we assign the following points for the interview score for each of the finalists. And then I'd say firm X with so many points, firm Y for so many points, and so on and so forth. And then see if that motion gets a second. Mm-hmm. If it does, the motion will be before the committee. You all can discuss it further. If everyone seems to be in agreement, it's time to vote at that point. And if it gets a majority of the vote, then that will be the point allotment.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think I'm following you. All right. Mr. Palkey wants to speak, but please, you two stay right there, okay?
Will do.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, Kevin.
Madam Chair, there's coming from education, there's a wonderful story of Henry Ford being the nice guy and always having a bulldog to do sort of the not so nice stuff that needed to get done. So I have no problems with being that bulldog today. So I would like to motion that we award BDO with the points of 700, Plant of the points of 690, KPMG with the points of 680, and Crow with the points of 670.
Okay, let's see here if there's
So
some
just to be clear
discussion.
for process, for everyone's awareness, we've got a motion before the committee now. It's perfectly appropriate for everyone to discuss the motion, speak to it, disagree with it, and we can see where the discussion goes from there.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like you to say that one more time because I
Absolutely.
didn't write it down.
So Ed,
Hold on.
Oops, yep, yep.
Slowly. Hold on.
Here. You want to pass that down?
All right.
Just pass that to her.
Start with BDO, please.
Malia.
Kevin.
So I motion to award BDO with the awards of 700, Plant with the points of 690, KPMG with the points of 680, and Crow with the points of 670.
KPMG was 680, you said?
680.
Okay, thank you. And so that is a motion. Is there any discussion on the motion? Wait, this, I didn't call for a second. I called for a discussion. Huh?
You cannot discuss until you have a second.
Oh, thank you.
I believe Mr. Miller seconded the motion, or at least I heard it anyways.
I didn't hear a second, but there's multiple people that want to second this. For the record, let's stick with David Miller. Okay. Now, is there any discussion, David?
Yeah. I seconded it to get it on the floor. I agree with giving the most points to BDO. Just in terms of how I looked at it, I scored each question for each of the characters that presented. And the reason I really didn't have Plant Moran as high was because there was a couple questions where I thought they just didn't answer the question or didn't address really critical stuff like the emerging AI technologies, what they really would bring to the table in terms of proprietary tools and technologies, the kind of information systems infrastructure. So they may have all that, but they did not present that to us. On the other hand, I made a comment after they left that, wow, that's the kind of place I would love to work someday, because their culture really came through in I thought, a sincere way in their presentation. But that's the only thing I would really share there. KPMG, clearly on all the technical aspects, is hitting on all cylinders. They were right up there with BDO. It's almost neck and neck. And I thought Crow did very well too, but was a little bit second tier to BDO and KPMG. But I do agree BDO is at the top, and I could live with that set of rankings going forward.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Many of you have served on this body for a while. Were you present for the initial vote for BDO, the selection? I know you weren't, Melissa, but you weren't, Jose Luis. You weren't either. No, you were. 6 years ago. Yeah. Okay. Jose Luis Pacheco.
Yes, so I like to, I also feel, as I mentioned before, I think I think Plant Moran, their culture and everything is because I was very impressed by their people and how they were brought up as many of them coming from the public sector. But we worked with BDO in the past, and I have asked many questions regarding the internal controls and the and electronics and so forth with respect to that. And I also feel they are a very competent and enterprising organization that will serve us well with our audit and our financial statements. So I also feel, concur with my colleagues that BDO would suit us well now in the future, in addition. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, Melissa Willett, you've been noticeably quiet in this discussion. which is unusual. Would you like to share your thoughts with us? And you can say no if you want.
I'm appreciating.
Yeah, hold on a minute. Okay.
Thank you. I'm appreciating the discussion by my colleagues. I want to echo David Miller's thought that it was really wonderful to see such stellar candidates, and the ecosystem of public employment pension funds in the country has strong auditing folks, and I appreciate that. But I don't have specific thing to add to the motion. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So I agree. I think all four of the candidates were fantastic. This has actually been a very fun process. I hope you've enjoyed it as well. If I were to give out scores, I'd give Plant 700 and I'd give BDO around 400. I do think that for me, I was also very impressed with Crow. I'm familiar with their work, so we can go ahead and move towards a vote at this point. A motion has been made by Member Palkey that we give a point allocation to 700 to BDO, Plant Moran 690, KPMG 680, Crow 670 points. That motion has been seconded by Vice Chair David Miller. Could we call the roll?
David Miller.
Aye.
Jose Luis Pacheco.
Aye.
Kevin Palkey.
Aye.
Ramon Rubalcaba.
No.
Melissa Willette.
Yes.
Okay, so that motion passes. Oh, excuse me, I see Ramon's name on the list. Forgive me, I didn't see it earlier.
I just want to say, explain my vote, if that's okay.
Of course.
No, I do agree that all four are highly qualified. I just, based on the answers and what I saw, I would have ranked them differently, but I'm okay with
Okay.
BDO being succeeding, having the contract renewed. Just want to
Understood, okay.
So I'm not against awarding the contract. I'm just
You're against the ranking.
the pointing, and the
Allocation.
ranking, and the discussion. That's all.
Understood. Thank you very much for that clarification. It looks like this vote is final and the contract will be awarded to BDO. Is that correct? Did I understand? Okay. Red means,
Apologies. Just wanted to make sure that we give time to bring the firms back in while staff's calculating, tabulating the scores after the motion's, now
Okay.
the motion's done.
thank you very much. Okay. We're going to start to turn on the live stream. For those that are reviewing this meeting via live stream, we ask the finalists to come back into the chamber. As they gather their seats, our staff is now completing the calculation for the total score. And at this time, I'd like to ask Justin Heeb, CalPERS Contracts and Procurement Manager, to please announce the final total score for each finalist.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will now read the interview scores for each of the finalists in alphabetical order. BDO USA, 700 points for their interview score. Crow LLP, 670. KPMG, 680 points. Plant Moran, PC, received 690 points for their interview score. Combined with the preliminary technical scores, BDO USA received a total score of 1,050 points, including incentive points. Crow LLP received a total score of 1,010.96 points. KPMG received a total score of 1,018.68 points. And Plant Moran received a total score of 1,034.59 points. Madam Chair, the finalist with the highest total score is BDO USA PC.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for your participation in this process. Now it's time for a motion. Wait a minute, guys. Wait a minute. I moved that the committee recommend to the board that the board awards a contract to BDO as the highest ranking finalist, subject to final negotiations and satisfaction of all requirements, and directs staff to begin contract negotiations for the contract with BDO. If staff, in its discretion, concludes that negotiations are unsuccessful, staff shall begin contract negotiations with Plant Moran, the next highest scoring finalist.
I'll second.
Is there a second? Second by Jose Luis Pacheco. Is there any discussion on this motion? All right, seeing none, let's take the vote.
Aye.
Jose Luis Pacheco.
Aye.
Kevin Palkey.
Aye.
Ramon Rubacava.
Aye.
Melissa Willette.
Excellent, this motion passes. And I want to remind all members of the committee and the finalists of the restricted contact policy under Government Code Section 20153. Okay, the next agenda item is 4A. It's the summary of committee direction. And there we go.
I noted no direction, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you very much. That brings us to agenda item 4B. Is there any public comment? Okay, seeing no public comment, this meeting of the Risk and Audit Committee is adjourned. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, okay. Thank you. We're adjourned still.